Hello, everyone. My name is Madeline Pena, and I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager for Midtown Houston. I am excited for another round of our Feel Good Friday series where we showcase business owners, residents, and leaders in Midtown. Today, I am so excited because I have the honor to speak with Kelly Young, the newest member of our MMD Board of Directors, and she's also the CEO for Career and Recovery Resources. Welcome, Kelly. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Absolutely glad to be here.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive right in. Tell us why or what made you join MMD's Board of Directors?
I really think that these management districts are an opportunity for nonprofits, for government, for community members, for businesses to work together to create the community that we live, work, or govern over. And it's a nice balance because you get lots of different opinions and ideas, and you get to think through how it affects everyone instead of it all being siloed off. And so when the opportunity came up, I was like, well, I work in Midtown. I enjoy Midtown. I have an apartment in Midtown. It just seemed like a really easy fit, but something that could have some great impact and purpose.
Wow, that is, I love how you talked about, how you mentioned that being involved so that way you can help build the community that you want. I think that's so important. And I think it's probably one of the top reasons why we want that kind of engagement. We want people to be more involved. So with that being said, why do you think that more people should get involved and participate?
I think that most of the issues that people either enjoy or complain about in their communities are things that they can actively participate in to either make better or to enjoy. So the more you know about what's going on, the more you might be willing to go out when it's, arts on the weekend, or get to know some of the local businesses and support what they're trying to do. And at the same time, if you have an issue with something that's not happening in your neighborhood, instead of expecting somebody else to fix that, or that some other system is going to fix that, what if we put together, a community activist board, or put together a group that went around and helped clean up trash on the weekends or took care of stuff? And then that way you actively participate in your own power that you have over your life and the neighborhoods you live in, instead of assuming that somebody else will be able to take care of that. And one of the things I really like about Midtown is there's so many things going on. So if you're living here in apartment complexes, you can create a community sense. It doesn't have to feel like it's, I'm just living in an apartment building. I'm actually living in a neighborhood. I've got parks and activities that go on that I actually can participate in.
You're absolutely right. One of the events that I really enjoy that we do is just neighborhood meetups sometimes. And we've got the National Night Out that's usually towards the end of the year. And we invite people to come out, and you get to meet your neighbors and chat with them and meet at either one of the parks or meet at a local restaurant. And just chat and create that camaraderie that you're talking about. And so I think it's really important for people to do just that. So very well put. Okay, so MMD, we've got a lot of different committees. We've got service and maintenance, urban planning, finance, marketing, cultural arts, nominating committee, public safety. So I know that you've been
Yes.
going and sitting in some of those committee meetings. So which one are you the most interested in, and why?
It's hard to choose because I'm one of these people who has a little bit of a scattered brain. And so the fact that there's so many different possibilities and ways to engage, it's actually really good for someone like me. I like the public safety one because I do think that if a neighborhood doesn't feel safe and you don't have a sense of how to maintain safety in a neighborhood, that's the first thing that erodes people's willingness and interest to come out and try different things. So I enjoy that committee, and I like the fact that you have all of the different entities who just transparently share what's happening. And so, you can judge it and say that it's not enough, but I'm also able to look at it and say, people are out doing the best they can with the resources they have, and they're willing to sit here and share it and hear everybody's opinions. So I think that's really important. I actually weirdly kind of like the maintenance one as well. And the reason for that is because, again, I think these are things that most people don't have an understanding about how it all works. I want to start a podcast that says, this is how things really work. Because I feel like most of us just take for granted how stuff happens. And so when you get to hear the processes and all the different things that have to go on to actually maintain a neighborhood, what the city does, what the improvement councils do, all that kind of stuff, you start to realize that, yeah, it's really not that nobody's trying. It's that everybody's doing all sorts of things. You just never see any of it. You only see it when it's broken. One of the things I always tell my staff here is that I can walk down a hallway and find 10 things that don't work. It's not hard. That's like the easiest thing to do. But to realize that there's always somebody who's thinking about how to fix it and how to improve it and how to make it better. So that's probably my second one. And then, I mean, obviously the easiest one is the marketing and the cultural arts, because that's just fun. I like the fact that last time we were talking about was trying to engage in what the city was going to do around some music and trying to figure out how to open up spaces for that to be available to people. So that's more my creative brain. So I can't really say that I dislike any of them. I like all of them.
You know what, to your point, because I think that I don't understand it, or it's not in my realm, the urban planning and the service and maintenance, I really do enjoy for the same reasons that you mentioned. I mean, who knew everything that you had to go through just to get, tree trimming done, or who knew the steps that you had to take for adding B-cycle stations or more bike lanes in the district. So it's fun to hear all of that and to actually learn what that process is. And so my last question for you, tell me, share something that something new that you've learned since joining the board.
So many things. But the first thing is just how many caring individuals there are who really want their community to be healthy and happy and try to solve the problems and make it a good place for everyone. I think we've kind of lost track of the fact that most of us, regardless of our own personal or political beliefs, we all really do just want a happy, healthy neighborhood for everyone. And the management district manages to do that. I mean, it's kind of an interesting mechanism because you don't know what happens behind the scenes until you're a part of the scene, right? And so I think that was part of it, just all the lovely people who sit on the board and the time that they give. This is voluntary. I think the second thing is exactly what you're talking about. So again, like when I start my podcast and it's how things really work, is just to really be able to understand that a lot of times you are the catalyst for making something happen. So if you want more bike lanes, you have to go to your city council member, you have to go to your commissioner, you have to make that overture. They're not going to guess at all these things. They're going to go with what you say. And I think we've over time disempowered ourselves and pretended that somehow we don't have a voice in our communities, and we really do. And I like that about our board is that, obviously there's structures for open comments, but there's always been a lot of room and space for people to say what they feel and think. And I really commend the longstanding board members for creating that kind of atmosphere, because they don't have to, and yet they choose to do that. So yeah, I'm just overly impressed by all the individuals, and they all have good sense of humor, which, for me is a big deal. Like, I'm not going to spend an hour on a board meeting call that's just so dry and boring, but they're genuinely concerned about the community and they're genuinely considerate with each other. And that just makes my day whenever I get off the meetings.
You're absolutely right. We've got a lot of big personalities with big ideas, which, will lead to a lot of big changes. So with that, Kelly, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing why you chose to be involved on Midtown's board. And as for you watching, make sure to join us next time for another episode of Feel Good Friday. Thank you.